Today, we step into the world of gentle imbalance, where perfection lies not in symmetry, but in flow. Japanese garden design embraces asymmetrical balance to mirror nature's unpredictable grace, rocks placed unevenly, trees leaning slightly, and pathways that curve unexpectedly. All are intentional. This is a visual journey into how natural harmony is crafted through the art of subtle, imperfect arrangement. In traditional Japanese garden design, nothing is ever placed by accident. Asymmetry is used to echo the randomness of the natural world. A single pine may stretch leftward, balanced not by another tree, but by a stone or open space. Asymmetrical balance keeps the eye moving, the heart curious, and the space forever alive, in motion. Garden path rarely runs straight in a Japanese setting. Instead, it meanders with intention. Asymmetrical balance is felt in every turn. A low shrub may appear to interrupt the path, only to reveal a stone lantern hidden from first glance. The curve slows the pace, inviting a deeper experience of natural harmony. Look at a grouping of rocks in Western design. They may form a triangle or a row, but in Japanese garden design, rocks are arranged in uneven numbers, often 3, with differing sizes and distances. This asymmetry evokes a miniature mountain scene where flow is implied between solid forms. The principle of asymmetrical balance also governs water. A koi pond is rarely centered. One edge may be lined with stones, while the opposite has a willow branch dipping gently. The imbalance is what brings balance, an irony that defines natural harmony in these spaces. placement of lanterns honors this idea. You won't find them symmetrically flanking an entrance. Instead, they appear tucked along a bend in the path or beside a mossy stone. Japanese garden design allows the visitor to discover, not predict. Asymmetry is the language of surprise and subtlety. The art of pruning follows the same spirit. A pine tree may be meticulously shaped, yet it never appears artificial. One branch may extend longer or angle downward, creating asymmetrical balance against the trunk's upright stance. This dance between structure and freedom is central to natural harmony. Open space is not emptiness, it's presence. Japanese garden design uses voids to frame the flow. A clearing on one side, balanced by a dense bamboo grove on the other. It speaks in silence. This asymmetry offers rest for the eyes and soul. Bridges in Japanese gardens curve off-center. They often lead to a vantage point that feels slightly unexpected. This design technique draws the visitor along a path of exploration. Asymmetrical balance becomes an experience, not just a visual arrangement. Dry landscape gardens, or karasansui, reveal asymmetry. At its most refined, raked gravel is balanced by a cluster of rocks to one side. Moss may hug one corner. The remaining space appears untouched, yet it holds meaning. This is natural harmony, born from mindful absence. plants, asymmetry plays a quiet role. A tall camellia might be planted near a low, spreading fern. Together, their contrasting shapes create rhythm. Japanese garden design teaches us that flow emerges from unevenness, from the dance between high and low, light and dark. In traditional tea gardens, stepping stones guide guests to the tea house. These stones are irregularly shaped and unevenly spaced. The asymmetrical balance forces careful movement. Each step is deliberate, aligning body and mind with the flow of the garden. Lanterns placed off-center from a water basin invite the eye to wander. The water basin may be carved slightly askew with a bamboo spout dribbling water from an angle. These details offer quiet drama. Japanese garden design excels at letting small things speak loudly. Bamboo fences are rarely identical from end to end. A taller section may taper into a shorter one, or a pattern may subtly change midway. This asymmetry brings the fence to life, like a brushstroke in motion rather than a fixed barrier. The color palette in a Japanese garden follows asymmetrical balance too. A splash of red maple leaves might appear only on one side of the path, balanced by the dark green of pines on the other. These contrasts feel natural, never forced. That is the essence of natural harmony. simple bench may sit askew beneath a tree, not centered in any way. This quiet placement creates intimacy. In Japanese garden design, asymmetry is not just aesthetic. It creates atmosphere, emotion, and pause. Rain chains hang from temple eaves like flowing vines. Their placement may not align with symmetry, but with purpose. Where the water wants to go, the garden listens. Asymmetrical balance follows nature's cues, not human rules. Aged wall with ivy creeping on only one side becomes a living example of asymmetry. The imbalance feels poetic, reminding us that beauty in Japanese garden design often comes from allowing time and nature to shape what we begin. Sometimes a single tree becomes the focal point, leaning into space no other tree occupies. It's not mirrored, it's embraced. This is asymmetrical balance in its purest form, honoring the unique presence of each element in the garden. A stream may bend sharply before it disappears behind a boulder. You can't see where it ends, but that's the point. Asymmetrical design keeps the story unfinished, inviting imagination. Natural harmony doesn't give away all its secrets. In a courtyard garden, a single rock may sit beside a water feature, but never at its center. Japanese garden design avoids symmetry because it's too final. Asymmetrical balance keeps the space breathing, evolving, like a poem with one word left unsaid. The soundscape also follows asymmetry. Wind chimes hang from one side of a pergola, their soft tone traveling unevenly. Through the garden, the other side remains silent. This use of contrast creates natural harmony between presence and absence, motion and stillness. Stepping stones often change in size and direction. A wide stone followed by a small, then another wide. It's not random, but intentionally unbalanced. Asymmetrical balance causes the walker to slow down, to become mindful of each step through the garden. Moss grows more on one side of a tree trunk than the other, guided by light and shade instead of correcting it. Japanese garden design celebrates this asymmetry. Nature shapes itself, and in allowing that, the garden becomes more authentic and serene. A moon viewing platform may be placed at a slight angle, never directly facing the moonrise. This asymmetrical placement invites you to turn your head, shift your body, and experience the view with quiet participation. Natural harmony engages all the senses. rains, the way water gathers is never symmetrical. Puddles form along uneven edges, soaking into moss and gravel at their own rhythm. Japanese garden design embraces this fluid chaos, finding asymmetrical beauty even in the weathers. Improvisation. Boulders are often buried 1/3 into the earth, appearing casually placed, yet each position supports the other. With asymmetrical balance, a large vertical stone might be softened by two smaller reclining stones nearby, imitating a mountain scene in miniature. Silhouette at dusk reveals its uneven branches, reaching toward fading light. Against the backdrop of a quiet garden, this asymmetrical balance creates a story of age, strength, and surrender, a portrait only nature can compose. Even garden walls are part of this philosophy. In Japanese garden design, a wall may be lower on one side, or feature a window placed off-center. The asymmetry frames nature beyond it differently with every step you take, like a living painting. Plants are pruned, not to match, but to reveal contrast. A sparse bamboo clump on one end of the garden balances a dense cluster of azaleas on the opposite side. The asymmetry creates rhythm and flow, a heartbeat across the landscape. Stone paths may split unexpectedly, leading one direction, before curving back. This nonlinear flow is part of the Japanese garden design tradition. The asymmetrical route feels like wandering through a dream. Nothing is rushed, and every detour holds purpose. Water basins carved from stone are often tilted, ever so slightly. The bamboo ladle rests across the rim at an angle. This quiet irregularity invites not perfection, but pause. Asymmetrical balance draws the viewer into the moments. Simple ceremony. Gravel is raked into flowing lines that do not mirror each other. One side may swirl, the other stretch long. In Zen gardens, this asymmetry becomes a meditation on water, wind, and movement, without a single drop or gust being present. In larger stroll gardens, a hill may rise on one side of the pond, while a small shrine is tucked into the opposite woods. The visual weight feels even though the elements are different. That is the mastery of asymmetrical balance. Japanese garden design is rarely centered. Instead, it may be placed along the side or concealed behind a hedge. Entering this way feels like stepping into another world. Sideways, through asymmetry, the ordinary becomes magical. use of shadows is also intentional. A tree planted closer to a wall casts deeper contrast on one side of the path. Asymmetry extends into light itself, crafting a layered experience of brightness and quietude, movement and rest. Fallen leaves may be left undisturbed on one section of moss, while swept from another. This conscious imbalance is part of wabi-sabi, finding beauty in imperfection. Asymmetrical balance honors the natural flow of time and decay. A cluster of flowering irises might bloom only along one bank of a stream. The far bank remains green, unadorned. The asymmetry draws attention to the brief color, the fleeting bloom. In Japanese garden design, nothing shouts, everything whispers. Even sound follows this philosophy. A bamboo water spout, or shishio doshi, may clack gently only on one side of the garden. Its rhythmic echo creates asymmetrical auditory balance. One sound in a sea of silence felt deeper for its contrast. The background of a garden scene matters as much as the foreground. A stone group may sit under a tree while the sky behind it remains empty. This depth, created by asymmetrical layering, builds natural harmony through visual poetry. You may notice an untrimmed patch of grass or a shrub that leans into a path. This flaw is not a mistake, but a reminder. In Japanese garden design, asymmetrical balance honors life's unpredictability, its refusal to be tamed completely. During snowfall, one branch may carry the weight of white more than others. Rather than clearing it, the gardener allows it to bend. The imbalance becomes part of winter's quiet drama, sculpting natural harmony from contrast and surrender. In a moonlit garden, shadows fall unevenly. One side glows, the other retreats into darkness. This asymmetry of light and night invites mystery. Japanese garden design draws the visitor not into clarity, but into contemplation. Pond's edge might dissolve into tall reeds on one side and gravel on the other. The contrast in texture provides asymmetrical balance through sensory contrast, soft and rough, wet and dry, hidden and clear. The scent of sweet osmanthus may be carried by wind to one corner of the garden. Fragrance, like form, is used sparingly and unevenly. This subtlety is the art of asymmetry, natural harmony that leaves room for breath and imagination. their song fills just one side of the space, rather than even distribution. Japanese garden design allows for pockets of life understanding. That imbalance often creates more presence than symmetry ever could. Fences are sometimes built with gaps in rhythm. One slat is wider than the rest, or slightly off angle. This irregularity tells the story of the craftsman's hand and time's passage. Asymmetrical balance turns structure into sculpture. Stone lantern may appear almost hidden under a cascade of maple leaves. It doesn't shout for attention, but waits to be found. This asymmetrical placement encouraged discovery and wonder, two essential parts of natural harmony. Where one would expect symmetry, two trees flanking a gate. Japanese garden design surprises. One tree may be there, the other missing, replaced by air or light. This conscious choice gives space the weight of presence. In spring, only one cherry tree might bloom in view, leaving the rest quiet. This deliberate imbalance allows the single bloom to carry the moment. Asymmetrical balance teaches us to value one over many, silence over noise. A dry stream of pebbles flows under a bridge, trailing unevenly into shadows. It mimics the flow of real water, not with force, but with feeling. The asymmetry is what gives it life, the illusion of endless motion. Pavilion, set beside a pond, may tilt slightly into the water's reflection, while its opposite corner nestles into shrubs. The visual imbalance is soothing. Japanese garden design uses asymmetry, not to confuse, but to comfort. When mist rolls in, it clings to only one slope, veiling part of the garden while revealing another. Asymmetrical balance allows the invisible to shape what we see, half garden, half dream. A carved wooden sign at the garden's entrance may lean or weather unevenly. This imperfection tells a story. Asymmetry reminds you that time is a co-designer in natural harmony. In autumn, leaves may drift more to one side of a pond. A gust of wind sweeps them away in an unbalanced scatter. But the garden accepts it. Japanese garden design flows with the seasons, never against them. Even cloud shadows drifting over gravel. Create uneven patterns. The light shifts moment by moment. In this fleeting asymmetry, the garden breathes. Natural harmony lives in these small changes, not rigid perfection. An arching tree may frame a distant mountain, not directly, but from the side. This off-center alignment creates a deeper perspective, drawing the eye through layers. Asymmetrical balance expands the soul of the view. Tea house may be approached from an angle half hidden by foliage. Its door is small, requiring you to bow. Every part of the journey, shaped by asymmetry, prepares you to enter with humility and stillness. The exit of a Japanese garden is never loud. Often, it slips into a quiet turn in the path, marked by a single stone. This final asymmetry leaves the visitor in reflection, not conclusion. The garden stays with you. Thank you for joining this mindful walk through the art of asymmetry. As we've seen, Japanese garden design flows not from mirrors, but from contrast. Let your garden breathe unevenly, and you'll feel its soul. Subscribe for more journeys into natural harmony, and may your next step be beautifully imperfect.